Does life actually get better? How do you come back / get better from being lonely and extremely depressed? How do you create meaningful relationships when you are so screwed up? I don't know if life gets better or you get better. I've struggled with depression for most of my life. The thing is that my mental toils grow stronger with every other struggle I have to deal with. Summers used to make me extremely happy. Well, content is maybe a better word, because I could only be focused on work and making money. College was horrible because it took almost 6 years and the only thing I envisioned my diploma to be was a giant question mark instead of a marker of success. I was tired, angry and overwhelmed for those 6 years. I thought about killing myself a couple times because of all the strain. But I thought that if I killed myself, I wouldn't have known if I'd have finished school. But school was so difficult to complete. Your whole life you hear that a degree brings happiness and success. It doesn't. But school is done with. Do I have a career to show for it? A nice new car and a house? No. I have debt, but at the same time I'm carefree. So to answer your question, depression might not go away, but you will mature and things will get easier. But it's never truly gone. You can't live a meaningful life in a day, but you can have a slightly better day at a time. Strive towards having a better day first. Start with one conversation, one relationship at a time, and give yourself time to grow and get results. Consistent effort is what it takes to be better. All true. And to add to that, the most important person to cultivate a respectful and meaningful relationship with is yourself. Recognize your mistakes, but don't dwell on them. Be kind to yourself and treat yourself with the kindness that you want to treat others with. Only by practicing to be kind to yourself can you learn to be kind to others. Being kind to yourself is hard for me, even though I know how important it is. I'm late, so this will probably get buried. In 2008 I lost my job. All I could get right away was McDonald's, so I took it. But it wasn't enough to pay all my bills. My car was repossessed. I got kicked out of my apartment. And I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me all within the space of a month or so. It was the lowest period of my life. I struggled with depression. Considered suicide. It just wasn't a good time. I was homeless. But I had good friends who gave me a place to stay, so I was never actually on the streets. It took a while, but today I have a good job. I apprenticed in the tool and I trade and I make good money for a guy who barely graduated high school and never went to college. I'm married, and my home life is stable. It's not perfect. Life never is, but I'm far better than I was. I hope everyone in this thread who is struggling is able to find a way to better days as well. Obligatory edit. Wow, this blew up. By far my most upvoted comment as well as gold and silver. I'm glad so many people found this inspiring. Keep on going. You are not getting buried. Semicolon close bracket. Whoa, that took a dark turn. Go to therapy / counseling. The other suggestions are great, but I don't think these people understand what it's like to go through depression. You don't merely snap out of it by doing the things they suggested. Find a good therapist, and if you cannot afford one, look for support groups of others who are also experiencing depression and talk about your struggles with them. Mental health counseling, along with the things the others have mentioned, will go a long way. I feel like it only works for some people, unfortunately, which absolutely sucks. I've gone to therapy, counseling / you name it consistently for 4 years. I've talked to a bunch of different people. I feel like I'm so messed up and there is no way of ever fixing this / coming back to the extremely happy and social person I once was. I really do appreciate your comment though. Your suggestions would be great for someone with just depression. But I just have way too many problems. I just want to say this. Thank you everyone for your support and helpful responses. It opened my eyes to see real proof that I'm not alone. Yeah, everyone always tells you that you are not alone. But seeing is believing, and now I truly believe I'm not alone and that there are people out there that I would want to connect with. I want you to all know that I will definitely read absolutely every single response. It may take a while and I apologize if I'm not able to respond to every one of you, because some of you really put your story out there and it means so much to me, and I'm sure it means a ton to a lot of other people who are struggling with this to hear your story and experiences and to be able to get real advice on how to start getting better. I wish you all the best, and I'm so grateful for all of your responses and kindness through this dark time. I'm late to this discussion, but I've suffered depression for over 30 years. I want to take my life numerous times because things just got unbearable. I'm still struggling, but I have one reason to live for, and that's because I'm a mother to a little one. It wasn't a planned role for me, but I treasure my little child more than life itself. I don't know if I'll ever come out of this, but I completely understand how you feel. I still find it extremely difficult to have a true friendship relationship with people. I really don't have anyone that I can consider a true friend. Isn't that pathetic? But I guess what I'm saying is please don't give up. Do you have a pet? Do you have children? Do you have a hobby you love? Wishing you love and peace. Just don't give up. Edit. Spelling. Relationships happen because you have a life to share. So don't go looking for it. Build a life for yourself first. Self-improvement, exercise, nutrition. Get a plant or pet and bond with it, so you have some form of responsibility and a reason to become more disciplined. Once you've sorted out the basics, find what would make you happy or proud of yourself, and actively chase down that dream. Sometimes it helps to remember that you could put yourself in an absolute hell if you left things deteriorate. So spend a bit of time contemplating how easily things could get way worse if you did nothing. Just don't ever forget, you have something to contribute to life. Even if others cannot or do not appreciate what you are doing. Every small step helps. Give it time. As a last piece of advice, do a year of yes. If someone asks you to do something, and you cannot immediately think of a proper argument to say no, say yes and go do it. I really appreciate your comment, but I'm already too far deep in hell. I don't do anything. I wish I could go back to the stage when I had the choice to prevent my life from going to shit. I'll try to do the year of yes, but I don't have anyone to ask me anything. I apologize for the depressing response, and I hope you are doing much better than I am. It's been said before on here, but it's always worth finding someone awesome in your life and sticking with them. Doesn't have to be a partner or family member. It can be a dog or a Twitch chat community. Find somewhere you belong and fit in, whether it's with one person or many. Do you have advice on finding a Twitch or Discord community of people to talk to? I've been living with severe clinical depression. I could claim disability if I needed to for almost 30 years now. 2 more and I can celebrate my first clinical diagnosis. Therapy and medication. Sure, exercise and eating healthy help, but they don't help like people who were once sad and then went outside think they do. They can take you from a 2 to 2. 5. They can't heal you. Therapy and medication is where you'll get your help. You need to learn how to think and also get the right meds to fix your brain chemistry. Medications are also not an exact science. Some may work in the short term. Others may not seem to help at all until one day they do. Keep an open line of communication with your mental health provider as they may need to adjust dosage. Some days are better than others. I have good days and bad days and out of mixed day. It's a struggle, but like riding a bike, it takes time and you fall down. Finding friends in today's society can be really hard. That said, start in places where talking with others is encouraged. Creating meaningful relationships is a two-way street, but in general it's a lot of stumbling around getting to know each other and find your comfort zone. This is a bit of a question to answer, and I really wish there was a simple solution, but the reality is that everyone's mental issues are subtly different. Mental illness don't group as nicely as physical illness. My wife and her sister both suffer from generalized anxiety disorder, but one has a bit more OCD rolled in, and the other has a bit more depression. What works for one person's depression might not work for you depression. Main things you need to know and keep telling yourself. It is not your fault. It is not a weakness in your personality. You are not screwed up. You have a medical condition that negatively affects your brain. It is simply that we do not understand enough about how the brain works. To be able to say exactly what is wrong. It will go, and it will come back, but you can change this pattern. You can make improvements. To quote a great fictional man, sometimes life is like this tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you keep moving, you will come to a better place. A month ago I didn't think anything was worth it anymore. I remembered this quote and kept moving forward. It took time, a long time, but I'm finally leaving the job I hate for a job that I'm actually excited about. Change won't happen overnight, but you have to keep showing up the next day to make progress. Don't be afraid of change, and you'll be fine. First thing you have to do and I mean the very first thing, is learn to like who you are. Only you can decide what you like about you and why you like who you are as a person. That'll need to come before anything else. I don't know you or your situation, so I can only share how I got there. Because I used to be like that. I started faking confidence. I started finding things about me that I liked, which was difficult, but I got there. I like that I have blue eyes, even if one of them is lazy and looks at my nose. I like that I can grow a full beard. I like that I'm tall, and I like that I have nice manners. Over time, that faked confidence became more and more real, and I started to genuinely like things about myself. It makes you peaceful as a person and really helps your motivation to do other things. If you want to do what I did, just start with one thing every day. Get up, look at yourself in the mirror, and decide on one thing you like about yourself. Say it out loud. It sounds silly, but do it. Say it out loud to yourself in the mirror, then get on with your day. Once you start to like yourself, people will start to see that, and believe me when I say people love that. People gravitate to people that are happy in themselves and can share that happiness. I won't lie, it does take time, and how long depends entirely on you. But in the meantime, do try and remember this. You are not alone. It's okay to talk about feeling depressed or anxious. It's okay to not be okay. I really hope things do start to look up for you. As someone who has been suffering with depression for 8 years now, no it doesn't. You just have to come to terms with that. You'll have lows and highs, but if you are genuinely chronically depressed, your only choice is living life as a zombie on medication, or dealing with it. This doesn't apply to everyone though, so hopefully your case is different. I would definitely recommend taking daily vitamin D and iron, as this can help combat feeling tired all the time, and getting in the gym a couple times a week can also distract you from feeling like shit. Also, try not to push away the people that care about you when you're depressed, because after a while they'll stop caring and you'll be on your own permanently. If you're feeling lonely, try reaching out to a friend or a colleague and just being straight with them. I'm really suffering over here, and I could do with a friend. Results may vary. Good luck. Honestly, everyone is going to make the politically correct answer that if you try, believe, hope, blah blah blah, it will get better. Don't ever forget that sometimes even for really good people it just doesn't. Life sometimes just continuously gets worse and more meaningless and ends up in absolutely nothing productive. Sometimes you just consume an insane amount of resources from the world and never produce anything good, and you actually harm the entire world with your existence, and it's only cause other people would be sad that you are gone, that you continue on. Yes people, this is the reality, whether you like it or not. I'm 40. Let me know when you figure it out, because I'm just about done with all this. I'd say find a hobby. The most depressing times in my life were when all I did was go to school/work and watch TV until I went to bed to wake up to go to school/work. I'm not saying TV isn't a hobby, but it wasn't mine. I started playing a phone game that hooked me in and took up cross stitching. It gave me something to look forward to after the monotonous day-to-day life. I also looked into social groups like books clubs or sewing circles. Wow, I sound like a grandma. Running club didn't last long. Happy hour with coworkers. I honestly dreaded every time I would have to go because I wanted to slip back into depression sitting at home watching trash TV. But every time I went I had an amazing time just doing something different. The hobbies I stuck with were sort of mind numbing and let my brain defrag. It was honestly how I fell in love with myself and my alone time that fully pulled me out of the funk. Not always. In my 40 plus years experience it just gets steadily worse. I've spent most of my life completely friendless. You always hear people say to go to places where you'll meet like-minded people. But that assumes these places exist, which they don't for me where I am. And my social anxiety makes it a non-starter anyway. I've been through a number of psychologists over the last couple of decades that have all given up on me and been on a variety of antidepressants, none of which helped. Now I just exist day to day, week to week, wondering how much longer I can keep going. In my experience, yes and no. I went really downhill after a bad breakup around 4 years ago. I was in a mental space where I hated my job, hated my living situation, and hated my loneliness. I believed my ex was the rare source of happiness in my life. And in my mind it was her fault I was feeling what I was. I drank a lot, begged her to take me back, drank more and more. Ultimately I made peace with most of those demons, but kept drinking. Ultimately my drinking contributed to me losing my job. I did get better, but I'm nowhere near as optimistic as I used to be. I'm drinking less. I play into bands and DJ often. Channeling my emotions into music has been a healthy and rewarding outlet. I have a new job where I feel valued. I have a new relationship, 2 years now, with a great and supportive woman. But I still struggle with trust issues. I feel emotionally disconnected. I show up for my friends, family and partner, but I do so because I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do, not because I actually want to. I used to be warm. It's like a switch turned off and never got turned back on. So I'm better, but I don't think I'll ever be the funny, warm and welcoming guy I used to be. I appear to be, but it's mostly a facade. No, not really. I mean it can. But your potentially best years are before 30. Best, in this case, meaning most vivid. Certainly you could get more comfortable with life if you take that to mean best. Anyway, find bliss in loneliness. There is a reason that Taoist monks would seclude themselves and live as hermits. It wasn't because they thought it was virtuous. Don't focus on being less alone. Focus on making the most of what you have. That doesn't mean coming to terms with a shitty life. It means owning your life and realizing that you're doing exactly what you're here to do, experiencing. You aren't here to be happy. You aren't here to have a family and kids. You aren't here to save the earth. You're here to experience. The true point of life can be extracted only from the immediate moment. Many think that at some point, life will just click. They've got a family, a spouse, a stable career, hobbies, etc. From that point forward, they will be happy, right? They will be satisfied. Yeah? Wrong. Life isn't a journey. There's no destination. You exist to experience. Learn how to enjoy your life now, not for the future. Tomorrow never comes. Realize what a blessing it is to be able to experience anything at all. I used to be quite stoic, it was numbingly easy. I realized that I don't want to just skate through life. I want to experience the ups and downs. I want to be shredded and rebuilt. I want to surrender to the experience. You just have to figure out what meaningful means to you. Meaning is semiotic. You extract it yourself. You could have a relationship that everybody else views as dysfunctional and or pointless. But if you create meaning out of it, it is meaningful. In other words, any direct recipe you gather for creating meaningful relationships will be futile. It's something that only you know how to do for yourself. Search deep within. You will find what that means. As for practical advice, find a therapist that uses psychedelic drugs in their treatment plan. Seriously, that will change your life.